Sometimes when I'm struggling with words, it just vomit, and that's not the right word. Let me zip. Hi guys, I'm Meg with Life's a Bee, and this is Daisy, my sidekick today. And we're coming to you today to talk about social anxiety. I want to give you a way to look at it to help cope with it in the moment, and hopefully something to help retrain your belief system or retrain your thought patterns around social situations to helpfully long-term kind of curb that fear, that anxiety that we get sometimes when we're in group settings or whatever. So and I'll tell you how I think about it, and then we'll kind of like change it so we can help other people. Like if that doesn't exactly work for you, then let's like think about it in other ways, because there's more than one way to think about things. So when I am around people, I usually look down at the ground. Like when I'm around people I don't know, I usually, like, anytime like I walk past somebody on the street or just like walk past anybody in like a room and I don't know them, like I get this like welling up feeling of like they're getting closer, and I'm just like do I project confidence? And I'm just like completely in my head, and like sometimes I like half smile at them, and sometimes I'm like, okay, look at my phone, and I'm past them, like it's just like it's an uncomfortable, sometimes overwhelming feeling, and I don't love it. A friend walked me through a meditation, and what was really cool is she tries to get you to imagine what your life would be like before Earth, before coming down, before having a body, before living this experience. You take yourself back and think about what it would be like and everybody around you, and how would you be. And it was just a really interesting feeling that came over me, because I realized at that moment that we were all the same. Like we were all come from the same place. Whether that's like microorganisms that grew, crawled itself out of a lake and turned into a monkey and like eventually turned to humans, or if that there's something different and we're this predestined plan, and we're like created and live in this human experience in this human body, in a way, not in a way, yeah, in a way, we are all of the same sustenance, the same substance, the same essence. And so what was really cool about doing this meditation is just the feeling that came over my body, and realizing like, oh my gosh, it's like this earth, this society that has put on all of these weird like contraptions over our mind, like what they're like belief systems and social structures. And so that's why I feel so intimidated around other people, is because there's this idea that there's like this power, what's that power structure, you know what I'm talking about, like social power structure. And so it was really nice to tap into this place of believing and understanding and seeing all of the humans around us as just being like the same, like we're all on the same level, we're all kind of just like happy and excited, and like we're coming down and we're gonna like experience this like crazy thing together about having a fucking body, and we all just like understand one another, and we're just like connected in this way. And so like anytime I have that feeling arise of social anxiety when I'm around other people, I stop and like take myself back to that kind of like thought, that meditation, just that breath of being like, okay, just imagining. It's kind of like imagining them in their underwear. Like there's something about the imagination helping the body calm itself down. But I'm using something where it makes sense to me, because those are my beliefs, about that we all came from the same place. And so, as this person's coming up, rather than like letting myself continue and continue to feel anxiety and feel anxious and feel stressed, is like I just breathe. Okay, I'm gonna like think about this person as my brother. I think about this person as my family member, as like my uncle, my aunt, my little sister, my cousin. Like I put them in a place of being related to me. And so that's so helpful, because in many ways we could describe that they are related to us. They are our family. If you want to think about it as like we are all humans, we are all in this human race. Like that is who we are. We're all of the same, like I said earlier, essence. Nothing makes another person better than you. And so when you have social anxiety, a really good thing to look at is what beliefs are coming out. And sometimes it's tricky if you're new at starting to become consciously aware of your own thought patterns that are happening. So you do it little by little. And one big question to ask yourself as you're starting to feel anxious, just ask yourself, why? Why do I feel anxious? Well, it's because that person was walking up. Okay. Well, why? Well, he just makes me uncomfortable. Okay. Why? And just continue and continue and continue to dig until you get to the point that you'll know it, you'll have this little ding light come on. And sometimes you'll break down and cry, and sometimes you'll start laughing, and so use this tool and trust yourself and continue to ask yourself these questions to dig deeper. And so just as an example, some things that have come up for me, just like generically, are beliefs about myself and how I need to rise up or be something I'm not. So something to be aware of, as if you're having trouble trying to figure out why when you're asking yourself these questions, ask yourself, is it because you feel like you have to be a certain thing, portray a certain idea about yourself, and start going down that rabbit hole and seeing kind of like what that's connected to on the inside. And then a lot of it sometimes could be like trauma we've had from experiences with other people. And so it relates back to previous experiences. And so kind of use that knowledge in tandem with one another to sort through the belief systems as why it is that you feel socially anxious. And so for me, I don't want to feel socially anxious. I want to have friends. I want to go out in public. I want to be around people. I want to meet new people. And so if you don't want to feel socially anxious, like, learn about why you're socially anxious. Like, figure out why you are. And then the first step is just being consciously aware of why you feel that way. And so if like some of the others examples of what helps me change that fear feeling in the moment is to think about them in like a pre-existent kind of way before we're in this social structure. Is you hear, and I'm sure you've heard before about like the power of manifesting, and a lot of the power of manifesting starts with imagining it in your mind, imagining it how you want it to be. And so every time you start to feel socially anxious, tap into that manifestation power as far as thinking about it in some way that you're connected to that person. For me, that's been the biggest eye-opening release. I don't know if that makes sense, but the biggest release for me is finding a connection to that person. And you could think about it in an energy form, because whether or not you've done the research, quantum physics is proving how we are all connected with one another through energy. And so there is direct connections between us and every single person in on Earth and maybe outside of Earth if you want to get really into that kind of stuff. But the idea is that if you think about it, and we're all connected through energy, then in a sense we are all one organism, and a very complex organism. But thinking about that connection that we have with other people, we are equal. We are not better, we are not worse. We are of the same. And so use whatever techniques help you. My goal is just to help you be a little less socially anxious, to understand why you have social anxiety, and to help retrain the brain into being less socially anxious, so that you can get out and meet more people. I feel like a lot of depression and anxiety comes from the inability to feel connected to others. And maybe this is just a specific branch of depression and anxiety, is there is a fear and a lack of connecting with others. And so we'll go through these like highs and lows of like wanting to get ourselves out there and make friends, and then lows where we can't leave the house and we feel like we're not good enough to be around people. And so I don't want to get spun off on a crazy huge tangent here, so let me like reel it in here. There is and can be so much power in learning to be okay with yourself and sharing yourself. There is so much joy in finding how you can connect with others, because having a social circle, somebody that you can rely on, a group of people that you can rely on, like people to bring you up when you're down, like being social is so valuable. And so I really just want to help people like myself who have struggled with social anxiety just understand why, retrain the system to be less socially anxious, and then build courage and build experience by just going out and doing it and doing it and doing it, even though you feel anxious. Like, guess what? I hear you, I understand you, but I'm showing up anyways. That I think is Brene Brown. Brene, I'm pretty sure. Brene Brown is, I hear you, I understand you, those feelings inside of yourself, but I'm showing up anyway, because that's the only way that you're going to evolve past this dominating, freezing feeling of social anxiety. Like, we don't want you to be stuck in your house all day. We don't want you to feel like a recluse. There's definitely moments and times where that's what you need to do for yourself, and that's what I need to do to recharge as like an introvert. That's great. But don't lose out on so many good years, so many good experiences, so many growth and change that there is on pushing yourself past that point of not wanting to go out, because maybe you need to get new friends. Maybe you need to go try new things. Maybe like you feel socially anxious because you're hanging around people that you shouldn't be hanging around with. But these are all things that you can discover for yourself if you just ask yourself why, and then write it down, because I've said so many times it helps to actually like exit the mouth and exit the system, and for you to be able to see it on something, it actually helps shift something in your consciousness and your awareness when you actually get it outside of yourself. So record it, tell a friend, tell a therapist, write it down, but ask yourself why you feel this way, and then use some of these techniques or other ones that you research on how to grow from, say, social anxiety. Okay, you're socially anxious. Great. Now what? Are you going to do something about it, or you're just going to complain? Like, I'm sick of complaining. I'm sick of hearing myself complain. So I'm doing something about it, and I hope you can too. But either way, regardless, this is Meg from Life's a Bee, and you don't have to do it alone. Let's navigate this shit together.